Welcome, friends of the Crawford. I'm absolutely delighted to be here with our chair, Etta Goulding, visiting Chris Tuohy, our Emerge winner from 2023. So delighted. Thank you so much for inviting us into your space, into your workshop here today, Chris.
Thanks for coming. It's nice to have you. See you all again.
We've just been catching up on what you've been up to, and not only had you, as everyone will remember, won the Emerge Award in 2023, but you've also had, right over my shoulder here, another award in the interim. So you have been very busy. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that award that you've just recently won?
So the Future Makers, I don't know if you can see that, it's the red one over there. So it's the Design and Craft Council of Ireland's one of their prize-funded awards for, there's a student category for recent graduates, and then a kind of emerging maker, kind of early career business awards for across people, across kind of ceramics, furniture making, textiles, the whole lot. So I applied with the same desk, the Dragonfly desk, over the summer, and then I was received an award, a materials support award from the Design and Craft Council.
Yeah, it's fantastic because you were absolutely on our minds when we heard about the award, and your Dragonfly table, which sold, by the way, was absolutely magnificent, and it's gone. But it's led you to create some other ideas and some other thinking as you've moved in with your Materials Support Award. So tell us a little bit. We've been looking at some of the new designs. We're very interested in you've always had a kind of a practical approach at the same time to furniture design. So you're always thinking not only about the design itself, but in practical terms, especially to do with maybe carrying it or how it opens or how it folds. We've seen that right through from the very first stages with your shelf that we had admired when you were in your first year in Tremore Road.
In living in college, renting a room, renting a much smaller space than maybe having a whole house to fill with stuff. So some of my kind of thinking about furniture is how do you move it? What do you do? How do you make it have a longer life than something that's enormous and built in, where if you move house or you have to move somewhere else or bring it somewhere, it's kind of a whole palaver to do that, or you have to leave it behind or sell it or break it up or something. So that's something I'm interested in just from my own kind of experience of living in a bunch of different houses or different places where you kind of can't bring a lot of stuff with you. So these ones are kind of designed, the joinery in them is designed that you can remove the legs and you'd have two legs and a top that would be able to be separated from each other. So even like putting them in a car or something is much more straightforward than if you have a whole table where everything is locked together and you either need a van or some other means of bringing it from here to there. So these pieces are they're small, which is interesting to me. They're kind of knocked down in that you can take them apart to a certain extent, and they're also just very simple in terms of the joinery. So with these, when I'm kind of learning the space here and learning the machinery, it's about kind of trying to incorporate a number of different processes into making them and kind of seeing what works and what doesn't, and then hopefully building a slightly better version the next time.
Etta, you were quite taken with one of the designs that Chris has been working on, and it's this one here behind us in particular.
Absolutely. I just love the shape of it. People can't see it on camera, but if I tip it a bit, you'll see the three holes, and I mean that's so handy for carrying it or moving it around the place. And I particularly love the grain of the wood in it. When it's finally oiled and finished, I really look forward to seeing it again.
And Chris, you had mentioned, I think it was what you described as a happy mistake, which fed into your design. I thought it was really lovely. There's a beautiful inlay in it, which actually brings even your family background into it. I believe it was a piece of timber left over from one of your brother's projects. Do you want to tell us about that?
So this piece has a inlay of sapele, which is some of the stuff. I was making it, I had the board the wrong way. I put a cut in the wrong place and I had to figure out how to do something with it. So this sapele is from one of my brothers from his junior cert, which must be 15 years ago. There's been some bits of this wood sitting in the house waiting for something to do. So even that, just being able to reuse stuff or finding ways of incorporating things into pieces is really nice. And it's also just lovely wood. So that was kind of nice. It was annoying for an hour and a half, and then it was like, okay, how do you make that into something? How do you kind of just keep moving forward? Is kind of trying to do with it.
You've ticked so many boxes there. A, you've hit the circular economy. B, you've kept your mother happy because the piece of timber that she's seen lying around for 15 years has now been put to great use.
Out of the house. Yeah.
That's fantastic. It is great because it does take a very creative mind to be able to work into something which was known as a mistake. I love the idea that it was a happy mistake because it's actually really added to the piece and the design that we were looking at. And that was something that Jamie here in Benchspace also was commenting on. So we wanted to just wish you all the best in the future. Now, for everybody who missed out on the Dragonfly, and I'm in that category too, we are delighted to say that there is an opportunity for you to be able to come and purchase some of Chris's work because he's going to be taking part in the first ever Christmas market that's happening here in Benchspace. I believe that's on Friday, December 8th and Saturday, December 9th. I will give you more details anyway coming up closer to the time. But hopefully, if they're not sold in advance, some of the pieces that you're looking at here will be sanded and oiled and ready to go. So, Etta, I'm going to leave you with the last word of.
Well, I mean, we got involved in Emerge a few years ago, and it was a leap in the dark for us to encourage new and artists and woodworkers like Chris. And I think we've hit the jackpot with this in our association, of course, with Benchspace. I think anybody who's come down here has had a fantastic experience, and I don't think you're the exception to the rule, Chris. You're enjoying the opportunities you're getting down here as well. That's great.
Thanks very much, Chris, and thanks to Benchspace for giving us the time here this morning.
Thanks very much.